Right?
Yep.
That one is the one that belongs there.
I know.
Claim the United Supreme Court should respectively overrule the United States v. Morrison on covers clause grounds. We can clarify one overwhelming advantage is the environment versus the ESA. Roberts will severely restrict environmental legislation based on covers clause grounds. NET in 6 Roberts argued against the HB sites 4 rounds off the group on its objects low courts factored for the narrow covers clause argued this bill limits the ability to double correct the HBCs. Do not grasp the state borders Roberts champion interpretation for the HB sites 1 city. This Mississippi South Big extinction happened for the reasons fell left in Thailand and California and deserving federal detention. And Morrison said the economic non-economic standard from stop in 5 the Supreme Court resuscitated attempt to provide categorical limitations congressional authority. Morrison the court replaced the previous direct and indirect categorical distinction with the economic distinction of the ESA is key to solve extinction of keystone species QCS in 6 follows cover spreads between 5 minutes clean water and many other products and services. Now the yet only 1/3 of the species US are disappearing in the ESA can do over since probably more species that would do other big extinction in addition 100 species that the act protect from extinction listings community population increases or stabilization of population tends 130% of listed species as well as recovery of signature species and habitats protected by the ESA are critical to widespread species critical to some widespread species extinction strickler in forest time HGDs included requesting the ESA from which all effort defense extinction means all forfeit opportunities lost food sources that are to be 10 minutes time to be developed in classic extinctions habitat loss being protected as plant animal food housing habitat which gives food opportunity animal plant life is ill suited for humanity to account the national environment with no movements within the ones who laid the groundwork for the destruction of the act and this is model globally from Tobin and not the US says model for Western world such as case protecting HPs what happens to the US actually act as success to regulate international trade species although major most species include the H1s located tropics against the US opposition species with species worldwide all US environmental policies and implementations of the standard against which other nations judgment plus value responsible for protection of native species and indicated like the human constitution be halted reduce the number significantly increased not only in the US but elsewhere as well in ecosystem finally to human extinction diner 6 out of 94 ecosystems inherently less more stable less diverse systems the more complex ecosystem more successfully resistant stress like a net which the not as connected to other establishment by such fabric is a cluster of the simple urban circle for each extinction collapse between extinction just like the beginning of the world we're negative from kind the edging close to the abyss so point B is the Clean Air Act. Roberts will use the Commerce Clause to restrict the Clean Air Act Green Watch and 5 Roberts may hold a leadership in the Air Act Commerce Authority to enact federal environmental civil rights and protection Roberts' opinion advancing professional project that will threaten commodity one swath of environmental protection including the Clean Air Act and ozone hole is shrinking now because of progress within the framework of the Montreal Protocol but it isn't ensured by future violations with collapse gains and saws and 3 the protocol can handle of course successful agreements the process of ozone policy is getting close to the draft steps to reduce the use of ozone depletion substance fatal to comply with protocol would not manipulate the ozone layer recovery but also prevent the ozone layer all life forms under fanatics of the fair lifespan the atmosphere system is still far from over and the Clean Air Act is necessary to comply with the Montreal Protocol in CS in 6 the act launched ambitious to maintain air quality by controlling air pollution the air pollutants covered by the ozone are NOx the comprehensive approach to reduce pollution from the mobile source including private cleaning through manufacturing cleaning trucks and plus the act shows pure ozone by restricting CFCs and regulating the use of COVOCs in products and US ozone policy sets the standard for effective global ozone policy Benedict in 4 leadership to be a force mobilizing international consensus US leadership provides critical acts negotiations US help try to protect the ozone layer and promote international acceptance because of its straight the US can have a great positive influence on finding solutions to global issues and air pollution threatens billions the impact of systemic API and 2 3 million people die each year from air pollution source of citizen threats billions of people and the ozone pollution depletion causes extinction scientific consensus on our side Greenpeace in 95 times force later between CFCs ozone layer pollution reduces fast critical science tests and further hypothesis the ozone layer around Earth is harmful violet radiation without the ozone layer that would not exist push the default surveillance of rapid radiation precedent immune system suppression and as well as an immune role attacks on other living cells in the system mistakes are literally continuation of life on Earth and the subpoint C is the Clean Water Act which was unconstitutional under the Morrison Commerce Clause President Turner and the court rejected the mandate of the CWA rejected Commerce Clause was strongly questioned congressional authority in light of the United States v. Morrison and the Clean Water Act necessary to save wetlands prevent pollution runoff from Andrew and for the EPA funded us under the evaluated process of the activity results were peer reviewed of the 11 nature of race evaluated experiences specific facility significant improvements it was remarkable to detect such large improvements in the source non-point pollution from Craig and 2K Congress added section 319 fighting $400 million to encourage states to adopt the EPA approved non-point source management program 319 establish a national policy for programs to control non-point source pollution protection in 319 also provides recommendations doing federal monitoring of state non-point source through the states annual reports to the EPA and the EPA's annual report to Congress to federal government was there hopefully more involved in non-point source regulation after Canadian demonstrating real shifts with federal government CWS and federalistic anything of regulatory authority and wetlands including global ecosystems and health all biodiversity is a risk from Andrew in 4 wetlands recommend the most productive ecosystems around the world they produce massive amounts of vegetation and the provide cover for fish, wildlife, tanks, nesting areas for birds, nourishment, and many aquatic invertebrates, shellfish, and forage fish. Wetlands provide a home for a wide array of species that rare plants are diverse and endangered and threatened species. Wetlands serve to improve water quality. Wetlands serve as natural recharge point for groundwater and even help out the stream floods and strong clean water acts. Also, wetlands, the impact is pesticide runoff from NRDC. In 98 wetlands are vital land defense, protecting water from pollution. Runoff wetlands function as buffer zone to intercept and filter polluted runoff between the great rivers, lakes, and coastal areas. Wetlands also filter susceptible metals from water microbial action, which could take place on wetlands to produce water from bacterial contamination, significantly by filtering polluted American water flow that helps to American drinking water source. Wetlands are an endangered resource in America, and this Clean Water Act also prevents the aerial spraying of pesticides from Kochi and 5 on decision to hold aerial pesticide spraying to start pursuant to the environmental water solution protecting health fluoridations and waterways. Federal and state pesticide regulations flow simply do not offer adequate protection. The impact is extinction from cone and 6 pesticides spreading to wildlife restriction that restrict moisture and restrict balance to hold account for this species may have a fighting chance against pesticide and the Clean Water Act stops the development of damaging dams from Hollister and one federal judge before the Mexico federal agency 6 states both played build the answer compliance with the Clean Water Act. These conditions related to the Clean Water Act, the court agreed the next legislation is doing nothing is bad government action is necessary. Alternatives like anarchy, localism, spirituality, and ecocentrism will get squashed and worsen current destruction from Taylor. In 2K anarchists will assume people are naturally predisposed to corporate behavior. The evolution of biology shows that corporation puts species survival at times. It does aggressive competitive society take over to life. Interiorly, the authority after people dominated by groups who prevent hierarchies from converging. A decentralized political system below is ever achieved. There must be a government that requires laws and needs of enforcement. There's no escaping that the powers of paradox are natural order makes power inevitable from human affairs and only power can control power, nor does by regionalism have much responsibilization. Corporate capitalism, consumers, and market society, corporate local advocate, local research, these efforts too little hinder inertia, this process, chronic people, ecological spirituality seem perfectly adequate. Perhaps because they have little, if any, of social change that many individual civilizations, the only possibility to individual change that change is the original activism is hopeless, prioritized in sincere spiritual strategy for focused spirituality, hoping America will be no victors of civilization and corporate capitalism, no single process towards sustainability without governance, without new restraints on how most people right environmental experience models will be overwhelmed and futile, and human existence necessarily transforms the environment. Our choice is not whether to intervene, but how, and their style of management excuses unlimited ecological destruction. Barry in 99. But humanized environment is our natural habitat management and manipulation and international transformation of the environment are universal features of human societies, even for a hands-off position to constitute such principle except for serving wildness requires social and institutional intervention for pervasiveness of the non-conformal certain type of collective transformation necessitates another form of human management and the form of institutional such practices set up into a social governance limit in order to develop non-management at another level simply another form of management and rethinking can never solve only fractious coalitions such as the environmental catastrophe. Lewis in 92 notion that continued intellectual history includes the result of massive environmental abolitionism is difficult to set considerable theoretical green policies politically social political economic forms substantially cost by intellectual relationships the world of such ideas would change all would involve certainly accessible to setting concrete strategies for effective social and economic change changing insufficient widespread agricultural conversion will hardly be adequate for general social transformation. Such policies will still be formulated into political principles be devised. Those policies are to be realized and treated downstream compromise. Such compromise will be necessary for any kind of effective political quest for security will end when undercut the prospects for change and environmental disdain for intervention, growth, and technocratic government makes extinction inevitable. Borderline. And 6, the very danger faces us. Those dangers from environmentalism and environmentalist mentality fail to have to know that industrial revolution situation consist of environmentalism which at least those few might have managed to survive without the life-saving criticism of modern science, technology, intrusion, necessary for human survival. Intrusion can avoid pestilence, famous such as the naked eyes of environmentalism to save other requires full state rejection of environmentalism, hatred, science, technology. Progress of human life to save requires the return to fall history of reason, individuals, and a philosophy that makes life on earth possible. And the call to affirm nirvana lacks any political edge. Apathy and structural barriers can only be overcome by clear alternatives and specific mechanisms for change of hell. I hate it too. The second move to a new space beyond international relations, especially which will idealism, economic configuration, global relations, hyper individualism, and the power of service so beyond the institutional violence, global plan, and structural transformation requires a organized effort by popular support and dominant single mechanism, societal forms to be challenged of the executive distribution, supply control, receive multi-million-dollar contracts, getting inspired to grant for the soldiers, and in fact, it's not easily realistically challenged by pronouncement would be beyond IR to a nicer, gentler nirvana indignation, really over the truth of the abstract flight level, structural and any idea theory or writing from theories like knowledge and a bunch of different stack academy course one of like all the beginnings to be dim, all heavyweights started to scarcely glimmer, and he brought up when he went it was due to ensue, it needed to burn brightly. This does not portend well for the corresponding missionary, so King George really expect this from life capitulation to an intellectual backward.
Okay, Greenwatch evidence that you read that says Roberts will use Commerce Clause restricted Clean Air Act, it says Roberts unsuccessfully urged, the part that you don't read, Roberts unsuccessfully urged the entire court to reconsider a decision that rejected a constitutional challenge by developed or endangered species act. Hold on, it says Roberts may hold an extremely narrow view of Congress's authority to enact federal, environmental, civil rights, and other protections. Roberts' opinion advanced a view of congressional power that could threaten to undermine a wide swath of environmental protections, including the Clean Air Act. This evidence says that he wasn't successful in his attempt to do so, that he was in the minority. Which piece of evidence do you have in your 1AC that indicates that the Supreme Court is going to reverse the trend that they have now, which is that he's in the minority, and that he will be in the
You gotta
majority?
let me answer this question, you just kind of keep talking. The decision that is referring to is the Swamp decision, which was before the Morrison precedent, that he was in the dissenting opinion on. His argument was...
Whoa. The Morrison case was in 2000, and Roberts wasn't on the court in 2000.
No. Roberts wrote the opinion on a lower court that got to the Swamp decision that got to the Supreme Court. He was in the dissenting
Okay, so
opinion on
but
that.
still, what piece of evidence do you have that says the Supreme Court will put him in the majority?
We think the three pieces of evidence that are read as our links to the A, B, and C all say that current Commerce Clause jurisprudence is being seen by the lower courts as being restrictive based on Commerce Clause grounds. So if lower courts strike them down and Roberts controls the court, he will also strike them down.
Well, I mean, he may be Chief Justice, but which piece of evidence do you have that says he will be in a majority, that he will have 5 votes
We read
that
three
will
pieces
strike
of
it
evidence that
down?
indicates all lower courts will strike them down, Supreme Court will fall.
Your evidence indicates that they're not striking
You're
down. This piece of
reading one of
evidence
our
says that he was in the minority, so
one-
they're obviously not.
Minority in a lower court decision before he reached the Supreme Court. Congratulations. Also before the Morrison precedent, which would mean that if there is stricter Commerce Clause jurisprudence after the Morrison decision and he's on the Supreme Court, it would be more likely that his views would be mocked.
Okay, your Turner evidence says the court rejected, and then you don't read this part, the agency's argument the migratory bird rule extended beyond the mandate of the CWA. This evidence doesn't say that the entire CWA
Once
was
again,
overruled,
you have to look
right?
at this in the context of the Swamp decision. It means that
Where
this
does
is
this reference the Swamp decision?
note Swamp effects on federal jurisdiction under the Clean Water Act.
Where does this evidence indicate that this would lead to a complete overhaul of, or a rejection of the entire Clean Water Act? And what piece of evidence do you have that says that the migratory bird rule is what's key to solving all of your
It's
extinction
not. The
scenarios?
migratory bird rule is what they looked at in the Swamp decision, which was the dissenting opinion that Roberts, all of our evidence is citing, would then bring that opinion to the Supreme Court.
And that would lead to a complete overhaul. It wouldn't just be limited to the issue of the migratory bird rule.
No, because that evidence that was already heard. It would deal with interstate portions of the Clean Water Act, such as estuaries, things like that. Deal with the taking sections of the Endangered Species Act.
This is talking about the Clean Water Act, not the Endangered
You were
Species Act.
correct. We read 3 pieces of evidence to say Commerce Clause will cause a strike down, and you are reading each one and trying to take out, like you're saying Clean Water Act doesn't say all of them. Well, no shit. We have one for each of our advantages.
Okay, your cone evidence says that pesticides lead to extinction. What's the warrant for that claim?
It just says that a bunch of species have their habitats destroyed.
Which species?
I don't know which ones.
Okay, so how do you access your extinction impact?
It's species extinction, not human.
I know, but I mean, do you have any argument that that leads to